If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, wrestling fans? Richard Woodrow here. Welcome back to episode number 4 of Pro Wrestling Slam for September the 15th, 2020. ProWrestlingSlam.net, putting the pro back in pro wrestling. I just wanted to apologize before I start the episode. I've been off the radar for the last couple of weeks. My mother passed away on August the 20th, so I've been kind of taking it easy the past few weeks. I haven't been overly active on social media or on the website, so I've just been kind of keeping to myself for the most part. So I just wanted to apologize, beforehand. And I know it's been a few weeks since Anthony and I did episode number 3, but I'm back with episode number 4. So today I'm going to talk about Vince McMahon, what I call Vince McMahon v. the third party. Most wrestling fans know that the past 2 weeks, the wrestling world has been abuzz with Vince McMahon throwing the hammer down on his superstars, and he initially stated that no WWE superstars currently under contract will do business with third parties like Twitch and Cameo and etc., etc., etc. And then he kind of loosened it up a little bit, about a week later, stating that as long as WWE was made aware and Vince gave the green light when it came to third party, then it wasn't a deal breaker. Because you see like a lot of wrestlers like Zelina Vega, Paige, Xavier Woods, they have Twitch accounts, and a bunch of WWE superstars, they're on Cameo, and I guess that Vince didn't like that, obviously, because they are third parties, and they are, a lot of these wrestlers, Zelina Vega included, were using their gimmick names that WWE gave them as part of their contract to be employees with the WWE. I mean, if wrestlers want to, if they want to do their own thing, they want to have Twitch accounts, Cameo, and they want to have YouTube channels, fine. But I mean, just do it, the sensible way. Use your real names. Don't talk about your character in WWE. Don't talk about anything that goes on in the company, because I think the main reason why Vince was pissed was because Lana, the WWE superstar Lana, she basically did an end run, and she did commercials for this energy drink. I think it's called Bang, and she did a total end run right around Vince McMahon and the WWE. Basically, didn't ask Vince's permission, didn't ask the company's permission to do these commercials, and I think that's what set Vince off. And the past 2 weeks I've seen a ton of wrestling fans. They were in outrage. They were outraged over what Vince's decision. Oh, I'm going to boycott WWE, and oh, these guys are independent contractors. You know what? I just laughed at the people that said that they were going to boycott WWE. You know what? That's your decision. Go right ahead. If you don't want to watch WWE product anymore because of Vince making a business decision, hey, go right ahead. That's your opinion. That's your right to do so. But really, at the end of the day, Vince is really not going to lose sleep over it, because WWE in one form or another has been around since 1953. So, they started off as Capital Wrestling and then changed to the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and then when Vince McMahon Jr. took over, it was Titan Sports, and then WWF, and then what we now know as WWE. So the company's been around for 67 years, and I really don't think WWE is going to go out of business anytime soon because a few thousand people want to boycott the product because they're pissed because they might not be able to see Xavier Woods or Zelina Vega on Twitch as their gimmick characters. Because, yeah, they're independent contractors, but I'm pretty sure that that's because, that's a loophole WWE has to be able to classify their employees as independent contractors so that they don't have to administer health plans and whatnot. Now, I could be wrong on that. I don't want to, don't quote me on that. If anybody has, if anybody wants to leave comments as to the real reason why wrestlers are independent contractors, or the actual reason, by all means, leave a comment on YouTube or leave a comment on Facebook or on Twitter. And, like I said, I'm not 100% sure on that. But these wrestlers are WWE employees, and they sign contracts. And when you look at, look at the line of WWE 2K games, for example. Right at the beginning of the game, it says, there's a legal disclaimer. The characters and characters in this game are the sole proprietary rights of the WWE. All rights reserved. Any reproduction or of these characters is strictly prohibited. Blah blah blah. It's like legalese basically, and that's basically the long and short of it. That you sign a contract with WWE if you're given a gimmick, if you're given a ring name, then yeah, basically WWE owns that gimmick. And if these wrestlers decide to, use that gimmick to try and further their own careers, or to try and make a little extra money, which is totally understandable. I mean, it's a free country in that regard. If somebody wants to make extra money on the side, great. Like I said, these wrestlers want to, have Twitch accounts and Cameo and have their own YouTube channels, then just use your real name. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, don't rock the boat. Don't use WWE-owned trademarks. And I mean, I couldn't get over the amount of outrage that fans had, and no fault of their own, because obviously, a lot of wrestling fans aren't overly familiar with how business works and how trademarks work. And it was the same thing in the 1990s when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash jumped to WCW. Vince McMahon tried to sue WCW and basically tried to say that Hall and Nash were using their gimmicks of Razor Ramon and Diesel, which wasn't the case, which is why the case was thrown out. And I mean, it's the same thing here. You go on Twitch, you open up a Twitch account as a gimmick WWE wrestler, and you don't have permission to do so, then Vince is going to drop the hammer down on you. I mean, it's as simple as that. So, that's basically the long and short of it. I mean, like I said, if wrestlers want to, or if wrestling fans want to boycott the WWE, they're outraged, do what you want. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's really not going to make a whole lot of difference, in the long run when it comes to WWE and their overall, success as a company. Because like I said, they've been around for 67 years. They're not going away anytime soon, okay? For the past few decades, they've been the biggest, if you want to call them professional wrestling company, in the past few decades, you want to call them sports entertainment, whatever you want to call them. But they are, they are a publicly traded company with stockholders. And Vince may be the owner, but he still has to answer to stockholders. He still has to answer to a board of directors, shareholders, that sort of thing. Because when the company went public in 1999, it literally changed the landscape of how WWE operates as a business. I mean, they're a corporation. They're not just another wrestling promotion. They're not another, XYZ wrestling. It's WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment Corporation. And they have contracts. Like I said, they have contracts and they have legalities, and and I mean, this using your gimmick outside of wrestling thing is not new. Like, wrestlers have been trying to do this for decades. That's why if you decide to leave the WWE, you have to file a claim to own the trademark that WWE has given you. A few wrestlers have been successful in that regard, like Bret Hart, for example. Have been allowed to use their names outside of the WWE, because when Bret Hart jumped to WCW, even though Bret Hart is his real name, the WWE trademarked that name. So Bret Hart was able to use his own real name outside of WWE. And, if a wrestler wants to use their gimmick outside of the WWE, they want to use it on other social media platforms or other third-party platforms, then by all means, if you want to do that, then file a claim. And if you're successful and you're able to use that gimmick, use that trademark outside of WWE, more power to you. That's great. You'll be able to go on Twitch and YouTube and Cameo, and you'll be able to make appearances outside of the WWE if you decide to leave the company and work for another wrestling promotion. So that's basically the long and short of it. Like when I first heard the news of Vince doing that, I wasn't at all surprised, and I was actually shocked that he hadn't done this sooner, like years ago, because the last few years Twitch and Cameo have been really popular, especially with WWE Superstars. So Vince was making a sound, logical business decision because he wants to protect those trademarks and he wants to protect his company. And obviously, he's a businessman who's trying to make a profit. And it would be, he wouldn't be the businessman that he is today if he wasn't making sound decisions like this, that he wants to protect the company. He wants to protect WWE as a whole. So, that's basically all I got to say about that. So, I hope everyone enjoyed episode number 4. I will be back with another brand new episode very soon. So you can check out the official website of Pro Wrestling Slam. That's www.prowrestlingslam.net. You can follow us on Twitter at PW_slam. Check out our official Facebook page at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Slam. Check out our official YouTube channel. We got a lot of fantastic interviews from our archive with Jim Cornette, Scotty Riggs, Conan, the legendary Les Thatcher. So definitely follow us on YouTube there as well. And like I said, I will be back with a brand new episode, guys. And I hope everyone has an awesome day. Take it easy.